So obviously not the performance that we wanted to have last Tuesday against Montreal. I think our players wanted to see a better result given the success that we had at the end of last season. And, going forward, I think that our players learned a lot from this. And, as I communicated with the guys who played, like the most important thing about this loss is not to just take it as an individual data point, but to try to understand what went wrong and be able to use those going forward into future matchups. So, I think that with this kind of mindset and being able to alternate players, especially throughout our lower boards, it's going to really help give us an idea about what kind of lineups we want to bring to our matches going forward. We're really excited to see the lineup that we're bringing to New York. Ultimately, that's going to be Sergey, Erenburg, Min Lee from Vietnam, and Jennifer Yu. So we're really excited to see what that's going to mean for us and where we are going forward. But for now, I think everybody in our organization understands that this is by no means a reason to panic, despite currently being in the relegation zone. I think that our players are really excited about what we still can accomplish for the rest of the season and the fact that we're going to get to play Montreal again throughout the Battle Royale. So with that, I'm going to open up the questions to the media, and let's get this thing started.
Hey Isaac, I'm back here. Obviously not a great start against Montreal, like you said. I just want to know what you think went wrong.
Yeah, I mean, when you bring in your highest ever lineup, I think your players internally kind of expect that the results are going to happen. And this was a really tough Montreal team. We knew that going in. When you bring in three 2600s on the top three boards and the 1800 that's very clearly underrated, that makes things challenging for us. We did what we could. Ultimately, we didn't get this ultimate kind of combination of strategies that we want in working our way, but I think. As we kind of look into this match, the big thing that we got to work on is time management and, our ability to manage the clock in different situations where there might be a lot of stress or it might be unclear what the best move is. How do you kind of trim down that process and that way you can excel in this league? So obviously for us, there's a little bit of a learning curve. I think that our players are excited to prove that they learned a lot from last week going forward and, we'll see what they're up for against New York.
And this is Yichan. Can you tell me a bit about how early signings can affect the morale of the team?
Yeah, so obviously with the two Grandmasters signings this week from Sergey, Erenburg, and Evgeny Postny, I think our players are really excited to see what that will do for the overall result of the team. These signings came in especially at a great time considering the result that we had last week on paper. For us, I think going forward, everybody understands that there's no just guaranteed lineup spot. With 5 players now over 2,500 and a bunch of players under 2,400, everyone's just going to have to prove that they belong on our lineup as we go closer to the playoffs. But for now, we want to see, how people can perform under pressure, how people can perform, in certain positions when the team ultimately needs them to succeed. So we're going to get a better idea of what that looks like over the next 2 weeks, and we're really excited to see what results that might cause. Next question.
Hey Isaac Steincamp. So on the same topic of the new Grandmasters, Postny and Erenburg, I was just wondering how the play times of Lander and Shabala would be affected going forward.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're going to have to cycle through them kind of similarly to what we did on boards 3 and 4 last year. But I think ultimately this will be an asset for the team. And we had some cases last season where, a Wander, playing, he wasn't in an ideal, condition. Maybe he was currently playing in a tournament or he was, in a conflict with some other event. And we actually saw that a little bit with our match against Montreal. A lot of people don't know that Wander spent the night at the London airport, then flew across the Atlantic and then played in the match against 3 2600s where he's ultimately still an underdog. I think ultimately being able to have that balance, both in terms of depth on top and on bottom, gives us lineup flexibility, but it also gives us the ability to plan for availability issues. And, it puts the burden of the season on more than one player's shoulders, which is something that, as a manager, I'm really excited about. And I think our team is going to really benefit from. Next question.
Yeah, as a change here, what do you think the key for this Pawngrabbers team is to beat the New York team next week?
Yeah, so I think these guys are really motivated. I mean, bringing in Sergey Erenburg and having him on board 1, our newest signing, is definitely going to be a morale point. But I think the other thing is that when you've got Grant and Zhu, who formerly was a pawn grabber for 2 seasons with us, and now he's on board 4 of the New York Marshals, I think that's going to be a motivating factor in and of itself to make sure our guys, bring their A game. I think ultimately we're going to have to be better at managing the clock. And, I think Min gives us that new angle in terms of being a really strong bullet player to be able to, not only handle situations in terms of time management well, but if he does get into time trouble, that's not going to be an issue for him. So I think that ultimately we've, created a situation where we've addressed a lot of the issues that we've had against Montreal, but that doesn't mean that they just go away. So, I think it will be close. I don't think that there will be a blowout in this round, and, we'll see how it goes. I'll take the next question.
And as a Yichan again, apparently there's an update in the point system in the Pro Chess League. What are your thoughts on it regarding the standings?
Yeah, actually, I personally didn't know about it until I heard Greg talking with Ben Johnson on the Perpetual Chess podcast about that. Obviously right now I as a manager don't have empirical evidence to show why there was, a need for a switch, but I'm sure Greg and, the upper guys at chess.com were able to figure out a reason why this would be a beneficial system as opposed to the one we had last year. One concern that I have is that it does elevate the your performance over 3 matches more than the other 10. So obviously our players are going to have to be ready for that, but as long as we take each match as seriously as the next, and we bring forth our A game in every single week, I don't really see how it could cause us an issue in terms of reaching our current season goals. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you so much.